Welcome back to Dial of Twang. I'm Dave. We've got a G7 vamp here today. It's kind of a little 60s vibe, I guess, on that rhythm. And it's just a one guitar track and a little drum loop I put behind it. And it's kind of that sort of thing. And I'm using all G minor pentatonic on this. And this one, I'm really going to keep this one in the middle of the road because there's one thing that was really going on there. Now, I was doing, my own thing, just kind of with my blues licks and stuff. And you do your thing. But the connective tissue on this one is what this is really about. I'm going to get right down to it. Now, started off there in that demo just doing some, and that's what I like to do. I like to get in a position that I'm really comfortable with and just kind of get into the groove, before I start doing the conceptual stuff that I'm working on. G minor pentatonic, blues scale. Okay, now, what this one's about today is using these different shapes of pentatonic to climb on the higher string sets rather than, just kind of practicing running up and down the whole position of each one of those pentatonic shapes. Now, the pentatonic shapes are something there's just tons of information out there and diagrams and so on and so forth. And perhaps you're familiar with that, or perhaps you're, just kind of getting into it. But at any level, you want to get, really, you want to do at least some warming up and stuff with those pentatonic things. If you're playing any kind of, rock, blues, country style, anything like that. So, if you, without running through all those, and like I said, if you want to pull the diagrams up and stuff that you have, and, shape 1, shape 2, shape 3, that's fine. But I really encourage you to give this a shot by just doing it this way and see if it doesn't kind of, stick for you on some different channels other than just that, looking at the diagram the whole time. And here's what I mean. If we start with the root up here and we go right down that minor pentatonic, okay, and just kind of warm up on that. Take each little piece of this and make a routine out of it. If that's too fast, maybe that makes more sense to demonstrate this, right? So the first 4 degrees of that, starting with the root, going down. And there I went back up. Make your own routines, But one that I'm going to get you started with here is just play the first 4 tones in that scale going down. Okay, now move up to the next, a tone. That would be if you're going. See how this all relies on your ear? This is why this is good training. You're bonding your ear with this muscle memory in a way it's not that the visual stuff isn't helpful, but it's just, if you're just looking at that all the time, at those diagrams, that's kind of all you're doing. Right? And if you notice, you come back a couple days later and you're like, wait a minute, I practiced that, 100 times and now my hand's not doing it. Okay? This might be helpful in that respect. If you want to pull up the diagrams and look at it, that'll work also. So move up to that next degree and play the 4 going down, but stay in this position. Now, if you want to double check that with your ear, again, cross-reference it with that first position. If you're real familiar with that, you can do that. That's great training all the way around because you're doing the work. You're not just following the bouncy ball on that, right? So the first two stages of this would be, okay, and as you can guess, we're just going to go on up like that. Okay, so you're going to get so used, you're going to learn internally in your brain, the brain science of this, right? How it connects to your hand, right? Not just through your eyes. Oh, well, that's convenient. That third one looks like that first shape. So that's cool. Look, now that when I find something like that, I'm like, wait a second. I can shortcut this deal. Right. That's what we're always looking for, right? Some instant. So if I go, okay. Now, just a little tip. If you keep going down all the strings in that position, it's not going to be the identical one, right? But it starts off like that. So for this 4-note routine that we're doing right now, that's great. Okay. Now, the rest I could just leave for you to figure out because you're on the path of using your ear, of unpacking this yourself in a way that really relies on you figuring out what's going on with this fretboard. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go through them, but not spend as much time. That's our routine. You're going to know, your ear's going to know if you're not hitting those scale tones, right? And that's okay. In fact, I hope that you don't get lucky and hit them every time because then you miss out on that opportunity for your ear to correct that, right? So, I like that one. Look how compact that is. And then you're back up to. Now, even just going slow, and we need to go slow at first. Look how much, not just how many notes you can play, but how nice the feeling and the sound of your climbing comes from changing these positions. Okay, now I started to, wander off the path there, and you will too. And that's what this is all about, right? This is playing music, beyond just kind of like, trying to keep your win percentage up and learn all the right stuff and play all the right stuff. That's good thinking, but, let yourself go when you're doing this. Put in the work. And the work is something that you make a routine out of, practice, repetition. But then, if you feel like stopping and bending, and you're like, oh, I recognize this. I'm up in here in this. go ahead and put that track on and start getting with it. But I think it will help a lot, and at any level, because you can, you know, if what I'm showing you here is something that you're like, oh, okay, that doesn't challenge me that much because I'm already kind of doing that stuff, that's fine. But you can make a challenge out of this, right? At any level, you can add more notes to it. You can make it into a different pattern. You can speed it up. Any number of ways that you can make that into a more useful challenge for you. But I like to present things in a way that it's helpful to the broadest range, excuse me, of folks that are watching. So that's it for this one. All minor pentatonic, going through those shapes and really picking out a routine, isolating it, and really practicing it. And then when you feel confident and your muscle memory kicks in, loosen it up and start jamming. I'll play a little bit out here for you and then get you to the practice track. Thank you. See you next time.